Welcome back to Material Siding, my N-scale layout. My name's Dave, and today we're going to finish painting the surface of the plywood that I put down. The plywood had, as you know, if you've watched, I filled all the gaps, and then I put 2 coats of urethane on it, and so now it's time to paint. So we'll go over to the layout and we'll start painting just as soon as I change it to the right camera. So we're gonna. Now I'm just going to check how much of the camera 5 is actually shooting to. It is shooting to here. I'm going to put something down to tell me that that's there. Then I'll know when I'm off camera with this. So when I paint, I use, what do they call this stuff? Bluestone House paints. They're chalk paints. And I've got a dark gray and a light gray. And this is how this goes. Last time I opened this, I made sure that I wiped down the top first, because this paint acts like a glue when it's if it's not cleaned up from the edge. So I do this in 2 layers, the light gray and then the dark gray, and I don't let the light gray dry before I put the dark gray on. So they sort of blend together. So that's the method in my madness. And I've got a 2.5-inch brush that's just the same as the just the same as width as the strips of plywood that are making up the road. I'm just gonna instead of wasting the paint, I'm gonna put it on here like this. Oh, did I get paint? Oh, I didn't get paint all over myself, but I might have got close to it. All right, so first things first, the light gray. Now I'm just about to be off camera with the brush, so just so you know, I'm going to paint a road that you've never seen on camera. It's the road to the cement plant. Okay, that is the light color done. And I'm just going to, I got so many different towels and stuff here. But like I said, I gotta wipe this off really good, because the last time I didn't do it, and it took forever for me to get it to break loose. And I don't really reef on it when I put it down. Now the darker color, and it's called Antique Slate. The And the lighter color is dry wood. So now I go in and pick up the dark one. And I'm keeping the brush strokes going along it so that any brush strokes are will leave some tracks. Now I know I'm off camera again here. Now I am going to come back with weathering powders and give this some okay, that is done. So we have to wait for this to dry, and then we can do the weathering. I've done part of the weathering already over here, but I'm not gonna touch anything until this is dry, because and I'm just gonna soften the transition here. That's it. All right. So you can see that's not a big deal to do. You know, there are multiple ways to do it. I know that Lumix sells something that you put sort of a foam tape either side, and then you put plaster between this. But I'm not much of a drywaller, so I find this a better way. This may take a little bit more work because you've got to shape all the corners and the turns and stuff with the wood, which is not as easy as just taking a strip of tape and making it, you know. There we go. All right. So we're going to let that dry, and when we come back, we'll do the weathering. Well, the highway is painted and dry, and it looks pretty good. So now we have to weather it, because it's just, as you could see, a gray painted surface, and it doesn't look much like a road. So this is how I do it. I use weathering powders. These are both from Vellejo. One is called Dark Slate Gray, and one is called Desert Dust. And I went to my favorite hobby store, and and there's another one here, which is called Factory Dirt Ground. So there's a greenish color, a dark gray, dark black color, and a very, very yellow color. And what I do is I use, I was talking about the my favorite dollar store, hobby stop, the dollar store. And I bought some makeup brushes. I'm just getting this prepped here while I'm talking to you. So I have these fan brushes, and I got let me see. I'm just going to take a look over here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a big one, 6. Actually, it's 7, I think. Because there's also this big brush and this medium-sized brush. But after experimenting, I found that it was easier just to use the fan brush and a brush that you usually use for stippling, like stencils. And between those, it works out really well. So this brush was in here. Yes, yeah, this brush was in here. And then this one's going to be in here. Now I keep them separate because just so they don't blend together on the brush itself, but rather on the highway. And this one's got here. So how does this work? Well, I'm going to start with the dark one. And all I do is take the brush and almost like painting. And then once I've done that, that's just, yeah, there's the color I want. Then I come along with the big brush. And blend it in so that it isn't just a single gray. So again, let's take this dark color and there. That's what it usually happens. And now the big brush again. And this blends between each time I do an application on it, so there isn't like a line on the highway where things, right? I'll put a link to the powders in the description. So again, and the big brush again. Now this is just the first pass at putting this the weathering brush. I'm going to stop because I think I'm out of camera down. I'm just looking at the camera here. Yeah, I'm going to stop before I get it all the way finished because it's a rinse and a repeat process. And now that's the dark one done. So then we're going to come up here. This is a reddish brown, and I'm going to put it along the outside edges here. And take this brush again. Come back with the dark again, and these brushes are very soft, and they spread out nicely. So one thing about highways is they're not actually a solid color. There's lots of different colors and changes in the road, the asphalt itself. Now, the next step after this will be to spray this down with a matte spray to seal the pigments, and then the next step after that is to put the lines on the road. And I'm still working in my head about once I finish the lines on the roads, I'm going to then create the shoulders that come down. Just as much as there's ballast on railway, there's sort of ballast on highways, because you always have, at least around here, we have soft shoulders, so it's always gravel and stuff like that. But so I'm just gonna whoa. Okay, let's just try some of this. See what happens. That's better. So I'm gonna do that again up here, because it's a little dark here. I want it to lighten out a bit. I'm trying to keep it in the middle. Like I say, I'm going to come back with a vacuum cleaner and as the British would say, hoover up the dust. So there's just one section to do up here. And right in here, it's a little lighter than the rest. So we're just gonna give this a bit more. All right, I could monkey around with this for hours. All I want to do is get that sort of streaky look on the road. I'm going to spray this down with a matte varnish. I think maybe some matte all-clad or flat all-clad, and do the whole highway. That'll seal it up, and then we'll go on and do the lines and stuff. I want to get this all sprayed down. I want to design that little jig for doing the lines, and then I'll just do a section of the highway with the shoulder. so that you can see what I'm going to do, because it's going to be, again, it's going to be a much of a rinse and repeat kind of thing. So as I was saying, you can see that it's fairly well weathered. I'm gonna have to do a little bit. I can see it's a little bit browner than I want, so I'm gonna have to lighten it up a bit. But you don't really need to see me do that. You just saw me do enough, I think. So I want to thank you for watching today. Thank you, and as always, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye for now.